The crystal champagne flute shattered in my grip as I watched my brother Knox accept yet another prestigious architecture award. Blood trickled down my palm, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the rage burning inside me. Those were my designs he was being celebrated for. My vision, my creativity, my countless sleepless nights. I'm Zariah, and I've spent the last 8 years watching my brother steal my life's work while our mother cheered him on from the sidelines. Darling, you're bleeding! My mother Madison rushed over with a napkin, her perfectly manicured hands fluttering around mine. You should be more careful. This is Knox's big moment. Of course. Everything was always about Knox. I dabbed at my palm, forcing a smile as the crowd applauded my brother's acceptance speech. Thank you for revolutionizing modern architecture, the presenter gushed. Your innovative approach to sustainable design is unprecedented. My innovative approach, actually. But I kept quiet, just like always. Sis! Knox bounded over, award in hand, his trademark golden boy smile plastered across his face. Can you believe it? The Henderson Project really put me on the map. The Henderson Project, my design. The one I'd sketched out in detail during countless late nights at the office, only to find Knox had somehow submitted it under his name weeks later. Congratulations, I managed through gritted teeth. Oh, before I forget, our mother chimed in, practically glowing with pride. I've made some decisions about the estate. Knox, darling, I think it's time we discuss transferring the family property into your name. The family estate, our childhood home, the sprawling Victorian that had been in our family for generations. The one thing I'd always assumed would be split equally between us. Mom, you can't be serious, I protested, my voice shaking. That house belongs to both of us. Now, Zariah. Madison's tone turned sharp. Knox has proven himself capable of managing significant assets. His success speaks for itself. You're still finding your way. Finding my way? I was a licensed architect with a master's degree and years of experience. The only difference was that Knox had been stealing and taking credit for my work since we started at the same firm. It's okay, sis, Knox said, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. You can visit any time. Nothing has to change. Everything had already changed. I shrugged off his arm and caught sight of his wife Savannah across the room, watching our interaction with an unreadable expression. I need some air, I muttered, heading for the balcony. Behind me, I could hear my mother's voice. Knox, honey, don't let her spoil your moment. This is your night. Standing alone in the cool night air, I pressed my wounded palm against the metal railing, letting the cold sting ground me. 8 years of watching Knox take credit for my work. 8 years of our mother's blatant favoritism. 8 years of swallowing my pride and staying quiet. Looking down at my bleeding hand, I made a decision. No more playing the good sister. No more sacrificing my career for family harmony. It was time to take back what was mine, no matter the cost. I just had to figure out how to prove it. He did what? Nina slammed her coffee mug down, making heads turn in the busy cafe. Zariah, you need to stop letting Knox walk all over you. I pulled out my laptop, fingers trembling as I typed in the password. Look at this, I said, opening a folder of my original designs. Compare these to Knox's revolutionary Henderson project. Nina leaned in, her eyes widening as she swiped through the files. These are identical. The sustainable water system, the solar integration, even the unique window placement. It's all yours. Exactly. I took a shaky sip of my own coffee. And now, Mom's giving him the estate too. It's like I'm invisible. Have you confronted him? What's the point? Mom would never believe me over her precious Knox. Nina grabbed my hand. Then prove it. You must have timestamps, original files, something. A light bulb went off in my head. The firm's server. Every file is logged with creation dates and user information. There you go. Nina's eyes sparkled with determination. Time to play detective. That afternoon, I stayed late at the office, waiting until most people had left. Preston, a fellow architect, was still at his desk when I walked past. Working late again? He asked. Just need to check some old files, I replied casually, though my heart was racing. Once alone, I accessed the server, searching through project archives. My hands froze over the keyboard as I found what I was looking for. My original Henderson project files, dated 3 months before Knox's submission. But there was more. So much more. The Riverside Complex, the Green Tower, the Mercury Building. All projects Knox had won awards for, all originally created under my user ID. My breath caught as I discovered a folder of my original sketches that had been accessed from Knox's computer late at night, usually just days before he would present his new designs. "Oh my God," I whispered, quickly saving the evidence to my secure drive. A noise made me jump. Footsteps approached. "Still here, sis." Knox's voice sent a chill down my spine. I quickly closed the windows, trying to keep my voice steady. "Just finishing up some work." He leaned against my desk, picking up a framed photo of us as kids. "Remember when we used to build blanket forts and draw dream houses together?" "Before you started stealing my dream houses, you mean?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. Knox's smile faltered for a split second before returning, more forced than before. "What are you talking about?" I opened my laptop again, turning it to face him. "The Henderson Project, Knox. My Henderson Project. Created 3 months before your revolutionary design." His face darkened. "Be careful, Zariah. You're treading dangerous ground." "Am I? Because I have proof. Years of proof." Knox leaned in close, his voice barely a whisper. "Who do you think they'll believe? The golden boy who's brought in millions in contracts, or his bitter sister who can't handle his success?" He straightened up, adjusting his tie. "Go home, sis. Get some rest. You're clearly overworked." As he walked away, I noticed movement by the door. Savannah stood there, her face pale, her hand covering her mouth. Our eyes met, and in that moment, I knew she'd heard everything. The game was about to change. The Mercury Building's grand opening was exactly the kind of event I usually avoided, full of fake smiles and even faker praise for my brother. But tonight, I had my phone's camera ready, recording every word of Knox's presentation. "The inspiration for this design came to me during a trip to Barcelona," Knox announced to the crowd, gesturing at the 3D model. I bit back a laugh. The inspiration had come to me during a rainy Tuesday night at my apartment, sketching until 3 a.m. while watching old episodes of Grand Designs. "The revolutionary spiral structure," Knox continued, but I was distracted by Savannah appearing at my side. "We need to talk," she whispered, gripping my elbow. "Now!" She led me to a quiet corridor, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Before I could speak, she pulled out her phone and played a video. My breath caught. It showed Knox in his home office, transferring my files to his computer. "I've known something was wrong for months," Savannah said, her voice trembling. "The late nights he claimed to be working, he was stealing your designs." "How did you get this?" "Security cameras. Knox installed them everywhere except his office. I added one after I noticed him acting strange." She paused, twisting her wedding ring. "Your mother knows too." My stomach dropped. "What?" "I overheard them talking. Madison's been helping him access your computer when you're not at work. She has the admin passwords from being on the firm's board." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. "My own mother. There's more." Savannah glanced around before continuing. "Knox is planning to present a huge project next month. The Skyline Revolution. It's going to make the Henderson project look small." "The Skyline?" My voice failed. "That was my masterpiece, my secret project, the one I'd been working on for 2 years." Footsteps echoed down the corridor. Knox appeared, his expression darkening when he saw us together. "What's going on here?" he demanded. "Just congratulating your sister on her excellent work," Savannah replied smoothly. "The spiral structure was particularly inspired, wasn't it, honey?" Knox's face flushed. "Savannah, the car's waiting." "Of course, dear." She turned to me, speaking loudly enough for Knox to hear. "We should do lunch soon. I'd love to hear more about your design process." Knox practically dragged her away, but not before she slipped something into my hand, a USB drive. Later that night, I plugged in the drive with shaking hands. It contained dozens of videos, Knox copying my files, conversations with our mother about accessing my computer, even him practicing presentations with my designs. My phone buzzed with a text from Savannah. "There's a gala next month for the Skyline Revolution reveal. Want to show everyone the real architect?" I stared at the message, my mind racing. This was it, my chance to expose everything. But it would mean destroying my brother's career, confronting my mother's betrayal, and potentially tearing apart my family. Another text came through. "You deserve credit for your work, Zariah. I'll help you." I thought of all the stolen designs, the years of lies, the family estate being handed to Knox, and my mother's deliberate betrayal. My fingers moved across the screen, typing out my response. "I'm in. Let's take him down." "Knox keeps everything on his personal laptop," Savannah said, stirring her untouched coffee. We'd met at a small cafe across town, far from any familiar faces. "The password is our wedding date, if you can believe it. He's not exactly creative with security." "Unlike his creative stealing of my work," I muttered. "But why are you helping me? He's your husband." Savannah's perfectly maintained facade cracked. "You know what it's like living with someone who takes credit for others' work? Who builds their life on lies?" She gripped her cup tighter. "Every dinner party, every social event, I have to smile and pretend I don't see him destroying someone else's career." "Your career." "How long have you known?" I had suspicions for months. Then I found your original sketches in his office." She pulled out her phone, showing me photos. "He gets sloppy when he drinks, leaves evidence everywhere." "And my mother?" "Madison?" Savannah's laugh was bitter. "She thinks she's protecting him. Last week she told me it was, for the best, that Knox handled the designs since he has the right image for success." My coffee turned sour in my mouth. The right image? Her words were, "Knox knows how to work a room. Zariah is too honest." Savannah reached across the table, grabbing my hand. "That's why we need to expose them at the gala. It's their biggest event yet, with every major player in architecture attending." "How exactly do we do that?" "Knox's presentation. I can get you access to his laptop the night before. We replace his slides with proof of the theft. Your original files, timestamps, everything." A waiter approached. We fell silent until he passed. "What about you?" I asked. "This will affect you too." Savannah pulled out divorce papers from her bag. "Already prepared. I'm just waiting for the right moment. When Knox falls, I want to be as far away as possible." "He'll know you helped me." "Let him." Her eyes hardened. "I've spent 3 years watching him steal your work, watching Madison enable him, watching you shrink smaller and smaller. I'm done being complicit." My phone buzzed. A text from Knox. "Where are you? Mom's looking for you. Family dinner tonight." Speaking of family obligations, I showed Savannah the message. "Perfect," she said. "Go. Act normal. I'll set up everything for the gala. Knox suspects nothing. He thinks I'm just his dutiful, clueless wife." As we stood to leave, Savannah grabbed my arm. "One more thing. Preston from your office? Knox is planning to steal his latest project, too. I found the files on his computer." My stomach churned. "Preston's been working on that design for months." "Exactly. Knox is getting greedy. He's not just stealing from you anymore." Savannah's expression was fierce. "We're not just exposing him for you, Zariah. We're stopping him before he destroys more careers." Walking to my car, I felt lighter than I had in years. Finally, someone believed me. Finally, I had proof. Finally, I had an ally. My phone buzzed again. "Madison." "Darling, don't be late. Knox has big news about the Skyline project." I smiled grimly. Oh, there would be big news about the Skyline project, all right. Just not the kind they were expecting. "These designs are incredible, Zariah," Preston said, spreading the blueprints across his desk. "The integration of sustainable materials with classical architecture. It's unlike anything I've seen." I glanced nervously at the office door. "Thanks. Listen, Preston, I need a favor. Can you help me develop these further? but we need to keep it completely confidential. Of course, but why the secrecy? Before I could answer, Knox's voice boomed from the hallway. I quickly rolled up the blueprints as he appeared in the doorway. Preston, just the man I wanted to see. Knox's smile didn't reach his eyes. How's that downtown project coming along? Preston's face lit up. Making great progress. The innovative cooling system is finally. Wonderful, Knox interrupted. Send the files to my office when you're done. I'd love to review them. My blood ran cold. I caught Preston's eye and shook my head slightly. Actually, Preston said slowly, picking up on my signal, I'm keeping this one close to the chest until it's finished. You understand. Knox's smile tightened. Of course. Zariah, Mom's looking for you. Something about the gala seating arrangements? The moment Knox left, Preston turned to me. Okay, what was that about? Preston, don't send him anything. In fact, back up all your files somewhere secure. I took a deep breath. Knox isn't who you think he is. Just then, my phone buzzed with a text from Savannah. Emergency. Knox's laptop crashed. Taking it to tech support. All files might be lost. My heart stopped. Without those files, we had no proof. I need to go, I told Preston, gathering my things. Remember what I said. Keep your designs safe. I rushed to the parking lot, calling Savannah. She answered on the first ring. It's worse than I thought, she whispered. Knox is furious. He's threatening to fire the IT team if they can't recover the files. What about our backup plan? The USB drive with the evidence? He found it. I had to convince him it was just work presentations. Her voice shook. Zariah, he's getting suspicious. This morning, he asked why I've been talking to you so much. We need those files for the gala. I know. I have an idea, but it's risky. Come to the house tonight. Knox has a dinner meeting. I'll explain everything. That evening, I parked a block away from their house, heart pounding. Savannah met me at the side door. Knox keeps a cloud backup, she said, leading me to his home office. But it's password protected, and he changed all his usual passwords. I sat at his desk, staring at the login screen. When's the dinner meeting over? We have 2 hours. Savannah paced behind me. Try combinations of dates, names. After 45 minutes of failed attempts, I sat back, frustrated. Then I noticed something. A small photo tucked into the corner of his desk calendar. It was old, yellowed. Knox and me as kids, building with Legos. Wait! I leaned forward, examining the date scribbled on the back. The day Knox won his first architecture competition, using my design. I typed in the date. The screen unlocked. We're in, I breathed. Savannah hugged me from behind. Quick, download everything. As the files transferred, headlights swept across the window. Car doors slammed. He's back early, Savannah hissed. Hide! The front door opened. Footsteps approached the office. The download was only at 60%. Quick, under the desk, Savannah whispered, shoving me down. She slammed the laptop shut just as Knox's voice filled the hallway. Can't believe they canceled the dinner. Complete waste of time, another voice responded. My mother's. Never mind that, dear. We need to discuss the gala presentation. Are you sure everything's secure? I held my breath, cramped under the heavy desk, as they entered the office. Of course it's secure, Mom. Knox sounded irritated. I've moved everything to the cloud, changed all the passwords. And Zariah? She's been asking questions. Let her. Without proof, she's just a jealous sister making accusations. Knox laughed. Besides, who would believe her over me? Still, Madison said, I don't like how much time she's spending with Savannah lately. My heart pounded as Savannah stepped forward. Oh? Am I not allowed to be friendly with my sister-in-law? Darling! Knox's voice dripped with false warmth. I thought you were at yoga. Class was canceled. Savannah's heels clicked on the hardwood. What's this about Zariah? Nothing to worry about, Madison said smoothly. Just family business. Family business like helping Knox steal her work? The room went deadly quiet. I barely dared to breathe. What did you just say? Knox's voice was dangerous. You heard me! Savannah's voice stayed steady. I know everything. The late-night file transfers, Madison's admin access, all of it. Savannah, Madison's tone was patronizing. You don't understand. Knox has a gift for presenting these designs. He makes them successful. Zariah, she lacks that ability. So that makes it okay to steal her work? We're not stealing, Knox snapped. We're redistributing talent. The designs reach their full potential through me. I have proof. Savannah's words hung in the air. Videos, screenshots, timestamps, everything. Knox laughed, but it sounded forced. No one would believe. The board would. The press would. Your clients would. Footsteps approached the desk. I pressed myself further into the shadows. Are you threatening me? Knox's voice was quiet, lethal. Consider it insurance. Savannah's heels moved away. The evidence is somewhere safe. If anything happens to me or Zariah, it goes public. You wouldn't dare, Madison gasped. You'd destroy this family. You've already destroyed it. You chose one child over the other. You helped Knox steal his sister's life work. What kind of mother does that? Get out! Knox's voice shook with rage. Get out of my office. Gladly. Oh, and Knox? I've filed for divorce. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. The door slammed. Footsteps retreated. After what felt like hours, Savannah's voice whispered, They're gone. Come out. I crawled out, legs shaking. That was terrifying, satisfying. Savannah smiled grimly. The look on their faces when I mentioned the evidence. But we don't have it yet. The download. She held up a small recorder. No, but I have this. Their entire confession, recorded live. Her eyes gleamed. Still want to go through with the gala plan? I thought of Knox's words. Redistributing talent. Of my mother choosing him over me, again and again. More than ever, I said. But now we have something better than files. We have their own words condemning them. The gala was 2 days away. Everything was ready. It was time to take back my life. The gala ballroom buzzed with anticipation. Hundreds of the industry's elite gathered to witness Knox's groundbreaking Skyline Revolution presentation. I stood near the back, my heart threatening to burst through my chest. All set, Savannah whispered, sliding into place beside me. USB is plugged into the presentation computer. Nina's handling the audio. Knox took the stage, commanding and confident as always. Madison beamed from the front row, the proud mother watching her golden child. Ladies and gentlemen, Knox began, tonight I present a vision that will revolutionize modern architecture. The first slides appeared, my original designs, exactly as I'd created them. My hands clenched into fists as Knox described my work as his own, taking credit for every innovative detail. The sustainable energy system was inspired by... The screen flickered. Knox faltered for a moment, but continued. Then, suddenly, the presentation changed. My original files appeared, complete with timestamps and my digital signature. The audience murmured in confusion. There seems to be a technical difficulty, Knox stammered, pressing his clicker frantically. A new voice filled the room. Knox's own voice from Savannah's recording. We're not stealing. We're redistributing talent. The designs reach their full potential through me. Madison's voice followed. Knox has a gift for presenting these designs. He makes them successful. The audience erupted in whispers. Knox's face drained of color as he searched the crowd, his eyes finding mine. This is a mistake, he announced, his voice shaking. Someone has tampered with... The evidence is real, I called out, stepping forward. Every head turned. Those are my designs. Every single one. I can prove it. Zariah, don't do this. Madison stood up, pleading. Think about the family. Family? I laughed bitterly. Like when you helped Knox steal my work? When you gave him admin access to copy my files? Their recorded conversation played over the speakers, confirming every word. The crowd's whispers turned to gasps of shock. Security! Knox shouted. Cut the audio. Too late. Savannah stepped forward, tablet in hand. It's already streaming live on social media. Every architecture firm, every client, every competitor, they're all watching. Preston stood up from the audience. The downtown project you wanted to review, Knox. Were you planning to steal that too? More voices joined in. More questions. More accusations. Years of stolen designs, claimed projects, and false accolades unraveled in minutes. Knox grabbed the microphone. This is a misunderstanding. I can explain. Explain this. I projected my original Skyline Revolution sketches onto the screen, dated 2 years ago. Every detail, every innovation you claimed tonight, it's all documented in my original work. The crowd turned hostile. Camera phones recorded everything. Journalists scribbled furiously in their notebooks. Knox! Madison hissed, grabbing his arm. We need to leave, now. But there was nowhere to go. The damage was done. Their carefully constructed facade had crumbled in front of the entire industry. As security escorted them out, Knox looked back one last time. The defeat in his eyes almost made me pity him. Almost. Savannah squeezed my hand. You did it. We did it, I corrected, watching my brother and mother disappear through the exit. The audience surrounded me, asking to see more of my work, offering congratulations and support. For the first time in my career, I wasn't standing in anyone's shadow. I was finally visible. The morning sun streamed through my new office window as I reviewed the final plans for the Mercury Building restoration. My first major solo project since the gala, fixing the flaws in Knox's rushed execution of my original design. A knock at the door made me look up. Nina stood there, waving a newspaper. Have you seen this? The headline read, Disgraced architect Knox faces legal action from multiple firms. Below was a smaller headline, Rising star Zariah leads revolutionary sustainable design movement. Karma's quite the architect herself, isn't she? Nina grinned. My phone buzzed. A text from Savannah. Divorce finalized. Moving to Seattle next week. Drinks tonight? Come in, I called as Preston appeared in the doorway. How's the downtown project? Amazing, now that I don't have to worry about anyone stealing it. He spread the plans across my desk. Actually, I was hoping you'd consider a collaboration. Before I could respond, my assistant interrupted. Sorry, but Madison is here. She's insisting on seeing you. My stomach tightened. Send her in. My mother entered, looking smaller somehow, less polished than I remembered. She clutched her designer handbag like a shield. The family estate sold yesterday, she said without preamble. I've brought your share of the proceeds. She placed a check on my desk. Keep it, I said. Consider it payment for all my stolen designs. Zariah, please. Her voice cracked. I thought I was doing what was best. Knox was so charismatic, so good with clients. I convinced myself it was the right thing. To steal from your daughter? To ensure the designs reached their full potential. She paused. I was wrong. So terribly wrong. Yes, you were. I stood up, gathering the downtown project plans. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a collaboration to discuss with Preston, one based on mutual respect and actual talent. Will you ever forgive me? I looked at my mother. Really looked at her. I don't know, but I do know this. I don't need your approval anymore, or Knox's connections, or anyone else's permission to be successful. After she left, Preston squeezed my shoulder. That was intense. But necessary, Nina added. Now about those drinks with Savannah tonight. Actually, I smiled, I was thinking we could all celebrate something else. I pulled out the letter I'd received that morning. The Sustainable Architecture Board wants me to keynote their annual conference. They're particularly interested in my original Skyline Revolution design. Nina squealed and hugged me. Preston grabbed his phone. This calls for dinner reservations. As they rushed off to plan the celebration, I walked to my window. Below, I could see the city skyline, a skyline that would soon feature my designs. My real designs, under my own name. My phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. Sis, I'm sorry, for everything. K. I didn't respond. Instead, I turned back to my desk, to the plans and possibilities spread before me, to the career I'd reclaimed, to the truth I'd unveiled, to the strength I'd found. Some might call it revenge. I called it justice. And justice, like the best architecture, requires a solid foundation of truth. I picked up my pencil and began to sketch something new, something entirely my own,